South Africa's Foreign Minister, RONALD LAMOLA, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, South Africa has been in the news since a group of dozens white Afrikaners have arrived in the United States. They were welcomed as refugees, despite the U.S. closing all avenues for refugees across the world. This because, in the words of President Donald Trump, they are being subject to a genocide, and the senior U.S. official who welcomed them say he felt like his family felt when they fled Nazi-era Germany. How do you react to those words and those actions?
Yeah, we have maintained that there is no truth, nor any data or evidence that backs that white African or South Africans are suffering from any genocide. And that is also not backed by any police stats. In South Africa, we release stats every quarter in terms of crime, and the police stats does not back it. There is indeed the challenge of crime, which affects everyone and which the country is responding to. With regards to what you could define as farm murderers, there is a disproportionate number of farm dwellers who are mostly black, who are affected also, and about 55 white Afrikaners in the past 4 years, with about more than 150 farm dwellers who are black who have been affected. So then the data, the evidence, everything in South Africa does not back this issue of genocide. So it's not true.
Is it a mistake or is it a deliberate lie by the U.S. administration?
I will not know how they prefer to characterize it. What we know is that it's not factual, it is not true, it is not backed by any stats or evidence, including UN organizations have said that there is no white African or South African that deserve to be a refugee anywhere in the world because of their privileged history in our country. You will know that with the history of apartheid, the land in South Africa is still disproportionately in the hands of white Afrikaners and white farmers who are welcomed in terms of our constitution, and the laws of transformation that have been put in place are in line with the constitution, which also give processes in terms of resolving a transformatory issue. So there is no arbitrary confiscation or any form of seizure of land against white Afrikaners in South Africa. So it is not true, it is not correct.
Do you expect this to be a one-off, or do you expect that this could be the beginning of a white exodus from South Africa, prompted by what they're hearing from the U.S. administration?
There will never be an exodus of white Afrikaner farmers on the basis of a genocide. Afrikaners groups and organizations have denounced this. They've said there's no such a thing, there's no genocide. You can ask them. They have stated it. It's there, it's public. They have said this is not correct. There are challenges in South Africa, and there are avenues which we can resolve such challenges.
On May the 21st, there is supposed to be a meeting at the White House between President Donald Trump and your president, Cyril Ramaphosa. According to the president's office, this is aimed at resetting the strategic relation. In addition to those refugees, quote unquote, coming, the U.S. has cut all assistance to South Africa since February because of a land reform that was enacted, and also because of Africa's role in bringing a legal case against Israel for its actions in Gaza before the International Court of Justice. Do you expect that there will be a compromise between both presidents, or at least an understanding of what's at stake?
Yes, indeed. We are going to the White House as a sovereign state to engage with the U.S. administration on a mutual beneficial bilateral relations between the U.S. and South Africa. And we must clarify this distortion that there has been aid cut to us. It has been all over the world. The health program, PEPFAR,
yes, but there's an executive order targeting South Africa.
It's an African program. The South African government has been able to sustain on its own our HIV/AIDS budget. Indeed, there has been some support from PEPFAR and from the Global Fund, which we have always welcomed. But The majority of it has been sustained by the South African government. The trade relation between the South African government and the United States government has been mutually beneficial and at various levels, which includes AGOA and the trade agreement.
It's at risk right now.
Yes, and AGOA has been nullified because of the tariffs, which are higher than AGOA. So that has been nullified, and that necessitates this discussion to reset the bilateral trade agreement, because there is a two-way benefit to the trade relations.
Donald Trump is a transactional leader, you know that. He's probably going to want South Africa to make a few gestures to, if not annul, at least amend his executive order. Are you ready to make concession on the implementation of the land reform, or maybe drop your case against Israel before the International Court of Justice as a way to entice Donald Trump to make a deal?
The land reform is a national imperative. It's a constitutional imperative. We have to do it. It does not violate any genocide convention, and it has been confirmed by the Human Rights Council in Geneva as a national imperative to redress the past land imbalances of our country. And as I've said earlier on, because of apartheid, almost more than 70% of the land in South Africa is still owned by white Afrikaners. And the program is not arbitrary, it's not confiscation, but it's a process that is just within the Constitution, and the process, adjudicatory. So
you won't abandon it?
No, we won't.
What about the ICJ case?
It's a necessary imperative to ensure to build our nation. The ICJ case is also won't be abandoned, because it's in the interest of the world that we all uphold the rule of law. Because of our history as a country under apartheid, we have got a moral obligation to protect and defend the international rule of law and the UN Charter and the Convention.
You'll be sitting in the White House alongside the president. You've seen what happened to the Ukrainian president. He was berated, some said humiliated. Imagine if Donald Trump says to the president, there is a genocide against white farmers happening in South Africa. Should the president respond? Should he? How do you do this? You know how Donald Trump behaves. Sometimes he speaks like this. Do you think there has to be a firm response, or that you have to accommodate him in a way to make sure that you get something out of this very important visit?
Obviously, we can't compromise on principle, and it will be unfortunate to have a debate on a non-existing issue. This issue does not exist. The whole world knows it doesn't exist. Nothing backs it, no evidence from anywhere. So it will be really unfortunate to be involved in a debate that really should not be there because it doesn't exist. But we will have to ensure that there is clarification to President Trump, to the people of the world. This really, it doesn't exist. There should not be a debate, in our view, about a non-existing genocide that the UN, everybody, and all bodies established to deal with genocide said there's no such a thing. The United Nations Migration Committee have also said the white South Africans don't qualify to be classified as refugees because there is no targeted persecution in South Africa that is targeting white people. So the Constitution protects them. Our laws protect all South Africans. You're
hoping to convince President Trump that this is the case?
We hope so.
You have a G20 pin. There is also a threat about US participation, his participation at the G20 summit at the end of the year. We just learned that the White House has suspended all participation to G20 preparation meetings. Are you hoping that the US president will attend, or it doesn't matter in the end?
Yeah, we have not yet received a note verbal from the US confirming that. But the US is a member country of the G20, in fact, a founding member. So they are welcome.
And the next chair.
Yes, and the next chair. So they are welcome to participate in the G20 in South Africa. We will embrace them. In the committees where they've participated, they have participated fully like any normal member of the G20. So the invitation to the US remains open. It will be really unfortunate for a member not to participate in the G20, in their organization to take it forward.
Your counterpart, Marco Rubio, didn't attend such a meeting of foreign ministers in South Africa, and he said so. Are you hoping to meet him in Washington and try to tell him we need to talk? We can't just portray each other as enemies or rivals and so on.
Yes, particularly because there is it's an unprovoked anonymity that is existing. From our side, there is no anonymity towards the US. We see them as an important partner, and our doors are always open.
Look, guys, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know who needs to pass this message to the government of the ANC under the leadership of President Ramaphosa. Guys, we need to open our eyes on this kind of acts. The government of South Africa needs to understand what is up to happen. Because if we neglect this, trust me, we're gonna regret, because these people, they are up to something. As we all know that Trump is not doing these things on his own. Trump is doing it out of anger. Trump is trying to punish South Africa for supporting Palestine when they needed South Africa to support Israel. Trump is trying to punish South Africa, all because South Africa decided to take Israel to the International Criminal Court. Trump is trying to punish South Africa, all because of the kind of conflict which they believe that is going to benefit them the most and make South Africa look like a bad country. To finish, Trump is doing all this because they are in the mission to make South Africa look like Zimbabwe. Why do I say so? Because this Republican woman, she had said it all in this part.
Is there a genocide of white farmers?
Absolutely there is. In fact, in South Africa right now, 8 out of 10 of the markers of a genocide have already taken place. There have been story after horror story after horror story of generational farmers who are having their land seized, who are being murdered, innocent people. And we're talking about the sins of the father kind of crap that we've had to deal with in this country for these many years. You know,
meaning the colonizers who came to South Africa, these are their direct descendants.
Direct descendants, just like in this country, white people are continued to be blamed for something that happened 150 years ago.
That you did. Slavery is real.
Excuse me.
So is apartheid. Apartheid was real.
And no, apartheid is now over. And now South Africa is on the fast track to becoming Zimbabwe. So it's going really great over in South Africa.
Oh yes, that is a Republican. This lady, she have to come and make this kind of revelations on how they are planning to destroy South Africa and make South Africa look like Zimbabwe. Now, should the government of the ANC keep quiet about it? No. President Cyril Ramaphosa, I like what he had said before. He said that,
but we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
We will not be bullied. Yes, now that Trump have taken his actions by not only cutting the funds which was coming to South African aid and start now welcoming this so-called Afrikaners without having enough evidence, well, I feel like the government of the ANC should not just limit themselves there. This time, they must take it also very far by addressing this matter more serious by, for example, looking at the list of these people who went over there in America. Who are they? Where is their farmers? Everything they have which belongs to South Africans should be collected and put in the public interest. Number one. Number two, they must immediately lose their citizenship as South Africans because they have sold out their soul to the devil. They have betrayed South Africans. They did not show that they are patriots of this country. They have accepted, and you see the way they are busy, so grateful to Donald Trump. They even putting their posters over there saying that thank you, Trump. Well, let them consider America as their new countries. But for the South African government, these people, they should be collect their citizenship. Why do I say so? Because if South Africa removes citizenship on these people, America must find another new land for them to give them. And that's going to be a big lesson for the rest of these boers who are over here in South Africa. Because they make all these things. They did their own lobbyings with AfriForum. They went and did all this kind of propagandas, which is not true, as we all know, that these people are not being killed. And if it's about them, if it's about them being killed, why is it on them who have to be killed? When there's so many South Africans which are being killed each and every day. These people, they are poor Afrikaners who want to remain in control, people who have committed a serious crime during the apartheid regime. Now that today they are no longer in the possession, or they don't have that courage or power to continue doing what they were doing before, well, they feel like, no, the United States of America is going to be a right place for them.
To the 50 Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees, you are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe, because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone.
You know, I really like it when I hear this boy, when he had to come and expose them. Because if you see this boy, he's also Afrikaners. So this is a kind of a message which we need to understand, that not all Afrikaners, they believe in this nonsense. Not all Afrikaners who buy this side of stories which comes from the AfriForum and Elon Musk and their friend Donald Trump. So, the more they denounce this kind of behaviors, we support people like this, because they're speaking the fact, they're speaking the truth. Guys, South Africa need to be united. We need to be united. Black, white, colored, Indians. We need to be united. And not let the outsider to come and tell us how to do things around, or to boss us around and tell us we should do this or should not do that. Trump, what he's doing, we all know Trump who he is. He's a man who does not think at all. He's a man who does not care, especially for black people. Trump is a racist. We all know that. So personally, I'm not surprised to see all these things, but we just need to find the proper way to stop this once for all. If President Ramaphosa keep quiet, it's not going to look good. But so far, I like for the fact that he came out in the media and said that these Afrikaners who have fled to America, they are cowards. And that's the truth. They are cowards. They know that they are lying, and they make up all these stories. So the only things the government of the ANC they need to do right now is to stop these things by telling everyone that if you go, we take your citizenship away. You go forever. Don't come back to South Africa even for visit. Yes, because you are no longer a South African. Go to America. From America, find yourself another place where you can go, where you can go back where your ancestors came from. Because we don't need, yes, we love Africans, we love white Africans and all these kind of things, but we don't love racists. We're not gonna sit here and encourage racists taking place all over. So if there's this kind of white people who have this kind of behaviors, we rather isolate ourselves from them and keep those ones who sees us as a human, those ones who we can have that mutual respect and treat each other and see this beautiful country like the only place where we have that we need to look after all of us instead of us being divided. I believe the message is loud and clear. Everyone, they're talking about it out there. And as we also thought like we should have come and have this conversation with you. We're looking forward to see you through your comment section. Tell us also what you think about this. What these Afrikaners are doing is something that can be encouraged or not, because we all know that these are false allegations or accusations against the government of South Africa. So what can South Africa government do so far in order to stop these kind of things? Because people who are behind all this, they are actually planning to make South Africa look like Zimbabwe. So therefore we need to do something about it, isn't it? So guys, I believe that will be all for now. We're looking forward to see you again in our next video. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao ciao.